Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of What He Said with Kevin Walker. Of course, I am Kevin Walker. That beautiful lady right there to my right, your left, your viewing left, that's your big sis. Y'all don't notice your big sis when you see her. How you doing this evening, ma'am?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed and highly favored, and I know it.
Absolutely. That's good.
So, this ain't officially one of our topics, but I'm going to bring it up because Ashley brought it up to me about a week ago.
Okay.
So Ashley, when is when is I'm drinking the Raider Blue Kool-Aid for Sterling. So you do Bible study sometimes for your dad, right?
I do.
So you did one just recently, correct?
I've done one a couple weeks ago. I will be doing Bible study again on the 2nd of November.
So what did you discuss a couple of weeks ago?
What did I talk about a couple of weeks ago? I told you how my messages just usually are downloaded at the moment. What was my last
I can wait while you think about it.
study?
I just want to know, what did you discuss and what was your teaching points, and how you think it came across.
Um, I'm gonna have to get my book because I did write down the title and I just kind of elaborated from there.
Okay,
So
well,
if you can
I ain't
wait a
gonna
second,
call you
because
on the
I can't
carpet
think
this
off the
time.
top of my
We'll
head right now
we'll save that
exactly
for
what it
next
was
time. I'll
about.
get you next time with that one.
Okay.
So we do have
I can tell you what this study is going to be about, though.
huh?
I can tell you what this study is going to be about.
Okay, well, what this one gonna be about? The next one you're doing?
The title is going to be "Don't Lose Your Flavor."
Mm. So where you going? Well, I don't want you to give your stuff away now.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I won't be speaking with you guys, so it'll be a whole different
Oh yeah.
audience.
Okay, so where are you
Absolutely.
going with "Don't Lose Your Flavor"?
So I'm sure it's familiar where we've all heard where God has called us to be the salt of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times we what I mean by don't lose your flavor is that we were called to be the salt of the earth. Salt is a flavoring, right? And it's also something that is used to pull out or to detox something.
Yeah, true.
So if you are to be the salt of the earth, then we should be flavoring our sisters and brothers. You know, we should be using what's in us to put back into the earth. Whether that's your gifts and your talents and all those things, whatever they may be, you should be using that to put back into the earth. So it goes a whole lot deeper than that. But from right now, that's kind of where I'm at with it. But it'll
Okay.
definitely be more to it. So
Ron Love, what's up, brother? So we got several good topics tonight. We're gonna talk toxic. And we're gonna talk about what toxic means and where it comes from and who gets to label you toxic, and why do they get that label? Why do they get to drop a label of toxic on a situation or a relationship? Not only are we going to discuss talk toxic tonight, we're going to talk about the misinterpretation of a post on social media. You know how people can try and read into something that they seen to say, "Oh, girl, go look at that. Let me screenshot this and send this to Ashley because Ashley, remember you told me that you had such and such and such. And look, girl, I told you don't be sharing your stuff with Bunquisha. Bunquisha talking about you on Facebook." And you're sitting there thinking the whole time, girl, Bunquisha don't even know what I'm going through. I just shared it with you unless you told her. So people
right.
will take something so simple and so small and run with it. And we'll talk about that, the misinterpretation of a simple post and how that can get blown all out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
So so let's go back. Let's go back real quick. Um, because I was just in a situation like that. And so I thought that'd be kind of interesting to run with it. I don't know if do you know who Sean Eaglin is?
I
He's a
don't.
He's a Worthing graduate, and I'm not sure what year Sean came out of Worthing. I know you attended Worthing. I don't know how long. I just know you were there briefly. But we were talking about a situation with a friend and a vehicle, and how his buddy didn't want to get the vehicle for his kid because the mom dude didn't have a vehicle. And he didn't want that dude driving a car he had purchased for his child. So I posted that. Somebody screenshot my post and sent it to my ex-wife as if I was talking about her. Just bored, don't have nothing to do, just mental out, get out. But I'm like, if you're so anxious to speak on somebody else's business and misinterpret a post that had nothing to do with person A or B or whomever, this was something, and I said on the post, Ashley, somebody inboxed me this as a show topic. This was a show topic someone sent to me. Hey, Kev, why don't you talk about this? Yada, yada, yada. You know, and look, I probably get tens of these a week. I ain't gonna say I get hundreds, but I do get several a week on possible show topics. You know how many people I get a week saying, hey man, let me come on the show. Let me come on the show. I'm like, so when you come on the show, what are you gonna talk about? What do you want to discuss? What do you have going on in your life that you can come sit down and we can chop it up for an hour? They I don't know. We can just, no, it don't work like that. I'm sorry. So how many situations, Ashley, maybe not personally been a part of, but have you seen where people have just taken something off of social media and ran with it for no apparent reason, just being messy?
Yeah, it happens way too often than not. There was a time years ago where someone who obviously, you know, felt some type of way about me took everything that I posted to heart, where I, at the time, didn't even know that this person felt some type of way about me, right? And so, of course,
wait a minute. Felt some kind of way as in liked you or didn't like you?
Didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, of course, you know, whomever the mutual person was going back telling this person, you know, certain things or whatever, but I didn't even know the person had an issue with me. You know, we had no real involvement with one another. However, they suspected that, you know, everything I was posting was aiming at them. Well, me being an ex-police officer, if I aim, I'm aiming to kill. So if I was aiming at you, it would have hit you. It wouldn't have to come through somebody to get to you. It would have came straight to you, you know. And I don't believe in all of that subliminal messages and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I just kind of went through a good Facebook cleanse and just started delete, you know, even if I had a suspicion that it was you was getting deleted, because I just don't do that type of stuff. I've never been a person to be involved in drama and mess.
Yeah.
And so that was just, yeah, but it happens so often. Often.
I just think, man, at our age, like, and then it's crazy because people who know me will say, boy, you don't have no filter. So I don't get why somebody would think I would shoot a slug or a subliminal message when everybody who knows Kevin I think it's almost probably pretty much gonna come out. You know, I'm like you, I'm not the subliminal message dude either.
Right.
You know, but but what bothered me more than thinking I would send a subliminal message, what honestly bothered me is that, so the person they sent it to sent it back to me saying, I'm just going to sit this right here. No need to respond. Oh, yeah, it's a need to respond. If somebody reached out to you to be straight up just messy, and I'm 53 years old, like, Ashley, let me tell you something. I'm in such a great space right now in my life and my world and what I got going on around me, and the people that's around me and the love that's around me. I'm in such a great place Like, I get people could be jealous. I get it. That's why. That's why for me. That's why I stopped doing Little League, to get away from drama. As much as I loved working with those kids and being involved with those kids, it got to the point to where I wasn't having fun no more. And I found myself being more out of character than being more into what I was doing and having fun in the moment with what I had going on with those babies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because them same parents that still kind of dabbling in the Little League, because their kids are now playing everywhere. Since we shut down the Southside Cowboys, their kids are playing everywhere. They the same damn messy people. Like, a leopard don't change his spots. He may change territories, but a leopard don't change his spots at all.
That is true. That is true. And at some point, you don't even feel the need to tell your side of the story. Just let people think whatever they want to think. So, like I said, I just started deleting people, and I honestly have not had that issue since. So, yeah.
So Chris Reedy says, at a certain age, being in drama often symbolizes pure miserable. Yes, they miserable and they messy. You right, Chris.
Misery loves company.
Said, hey, bro, I'm sorry I asked you to speak on that topic, but whoever bothered you, tell them to call me. My phone number is. Then he put a number up.
Wow.
But yeah, man, it's crazy. Like, I was just telling them so I went to Sterling's alumni meeting, and they've got a lot of nice stuff that they're trying to institute and do for the community. And I was just telling them, if we're going to get the word out about the alumni committee and what the alumni committee wants to do, the biggest deal with doing the alumni committee is about consistency and letting people know we exist, letting the people know we're meeting, letting the people know our purpose and our goals and what we're trying to accomplish with having an alumni committee. Is consistency. I mean, I think for me, like I told him, I was like, look, when I first started doing this podcast, I was getting maybe 100 people a week watching. Now, when I get the numbers, I'm getting about 4,500. So I've been consistent every week in what I've been doing. I think I've missed 1 week in a year and a half of doing this podcast. And I only started doing this because I was looking for something to occupy the space of no longer being involved in Little League. I really needed something to do with my time, because I truly believe, I don't care how old you are, an idle mind is a devil's workshop.
Absolutely.
And it might not have been symbolizing any mess or being miserable or messy or gossip, but I just needed something to do. And that's why even when I have people on to talk about issues and to be relevant in situations that are going on around us, the one thing I always say is that we're not going to entertain BS. But if somebody insults you or tries to attack your character, I will allow you the opportunity to respond at that point. But, other than that, man, this show is about just conversation. This show is about therapy. I want people to chime in and talk to us, feel comfortable with talking to us, and we're not going to ridicule them. We're just going to learn. We're going to educate ourselves. I told somebody today, they was like, man, what are you going to do different in the new year with the show? I'm like, man, I'd like to have a married lesbian couple on and a married gay couple on. I male gay. I really would, because I know how people in my bracket feel about that, age-wise, I'm saying. Hey, it's still a frown. It's still a frown. And people older than me, it's still kind of a frown. Now, we're more accepting at this point in our lives simply because all of us are sort of being touched by homosexuality some kind of way in your families. Some kind of way, we're all being touched by homosexuality, whether it's your nephew, your niece, some kind of way it's out there. And we're being touched by it. And I've always said this to the people in my family, like, who you are and what you are sexually not going to determine how much your uncle loves you. It's really
Right.
not. You know, I'm gonna love you regardless of who you are or what you are, and I need them to know that. I want them to know that, and understand that nothing changes. If you need me, I don't care if it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm on the way, Ashley. I mean, hey, I really am. I'm on the way. If you need me at 4 a.m., 3 a.m., 2 a.m., Uncle Kevin on the way. Uh, so just know your sexuality. You know, I want you to just go out and be a positive, good person in society, and live right and treat people right. I mean, that's
That's
just for
it.
me.
That's it.
So let me read Chris Reedy's point here. She said, the fact that we are grown as hell, who in the hell sits up and reads so deep into one's post? We are here to act ignorant and be, we're maybe she meant we're not here to act ignorant and be unsocial. And if people stop doing wrong by other people.
That's it. Like I was saying earlier, a hit dog will always holler. So if they,
Yeah.
it's their guilt that begins to eat away at them. So if I knew that I was out here, I don't know, stealing, whatever, robbing, and somebody I knew or knew of was posting about, oh, thieves ain't shit or thieves are this and people who steal need to go to hell, I would feel some type of way. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you talking about me? You know what I'm saying? So that's all it is. It's
Yeah.
their guilt. It's their guilt. A guilty conscience always speaks out, and feels attacked. If you weren't doing anything, you wouldn't have a reason to feel like you're being attacked.
So Ash,
Who cares?
let's shift gears for a second.
Please, let's do.
So why is it? Let's pretend you and I are dating, and you come home and you want to conversate. Well, Kevin White is Kevin White. So let's say I'm just not in the mood for conversation in the moment. I'm just not. And I don't want to talk about what you want to talk about anyway. Look, I had a long day at work, and that's just not something I want to discuss right now. Why do women start to build their own agenda based on a man's silence? Basically, if I'm saying,
Yeah.
look, I don't want to discuss that, right? I don't want to talk about that. I don't. Why do women start to build it? Yeah, you don't want to talk about it because.
Well, I mean, in a situation like that, and then she can come back and say, you don't want to talk about it because then sometimes there's something she may have heard, something she may have saw, that made her feel like we need to discuss this. And the fact that you're running from the question, may make her feel like you have something to hide, Now, in just a normal day-to-day topic, you don't want to talk about it. Okay, we don't have to talk about it. But if she's coming at you like that, then I would say it's something 9 times out of 10 that she already feels as it relates to the question or the conversation, and she just either wants some type of clarification or confirmation from you, but it's something that she's already she already knows, because why would I just start accusing you of something just out of the blue? That's kind of odd to
Yeah,
me.
but if you're coming in asking me
Give
asking
me
me
give me an
questions,
example. What's the question? What's the
I mean, I
question?
don't know. It could be anything.
It can't be anything.
Yeah, Kevin. So I'm getting you come in and say, so why this girl telling my nephew and them that y'all slept together? And I'm like, Ashley, look, first off, I don't want to talk about that. Second off, I didn't sleep. And that's the end of the conversation. I'm not talking about that no more. And you're taking, since I'm being aggressive with my tone back towards you, or you don't want to talk about it, why not? But I'm getting this from my people, and my people making me feel like you cheating on me. Ashley, I don't want to talk about it. I said what I had to say, and I'm done.
That sounds like a very immature conversation anyway.
A very immature comment. Well, I mean, you asked for an example.
Because I'm trying to see, like, why would a woman just go in on you about something that she has no clue, no idea about, but yet feel so strongly that you know that she could accuse you, or feel like you don't want to talk about it because you're hiding something. Like, it just, I mean, you have to know a woman first of all, you know. So that's why I'm like, you got to give me something. And a lot of times when it's a situation where, like I said, if she's coming at you already with a out of the way question, just random, you know, about something in regards to, I don't know, cheating or something, it's something she may have heard or something she might have seen, you know, and she just wants some clarification or confirmation about it. So it's like, if you're avoiding the question, then you leave her to her own assumptions, right? And so sometimes it's best to just clear it up and let's go to bed and call it a night, you
Yeah.
know?
So my clearing it up may be I'm not going to revisit or go back down that road with you, even if we've been down that road before. Let's say I've cheated before. So now it comes back to you via through, let's say through your daughter. Your daughter come back and say, Mama, such and such, you know, I don't know, such and such told me. So someone said maybe because, same thing I was just telling you, maybe because she's been down that road with you before. Also, she might think, hold on, so many comments are popping in, they're rolling. She might think you're lying. So Terry said because women draw their own conclusions. True that. And that was my question. Why do women draw their own conclusions to things? So Felicia Williams said, you need to explain yourself because the occasion is serious. Communicate and move forward.
That's it. Let's clear it up and be done with it. That's how I feel about it. It's too easy to just have a conversation.
So Kurt Green said, a mature person must understand you cannot bring old baggage to a new relationship because it has no merit in the new relationship. That is so true.
No one said it was old baggage.
there is,
But if
there is
that
only
was the
one
case,
explanation of. So Nicole said, so why not just answer the question? But why am I even being interrogated?
why would you feel you're being interrogated? Because she asked a question. A question does not mean interrogation. A question is just that, a question. Maybe she asked it in an aggressive way. And maybe it's how she asked that make you feel like, you know, hey, I don't want to go there with you, because maybe she already sounds like she has an attitude about it, you know. And there's a way to say, you know, why are you, you know, speaking in that tone? We can talk about it, but I need you to calm down first, you know?
So it's interesting. It's interesting that you say calm down because I'm trying to debate if I want to discuss this or not and talk about this situation. But I know someone who gets very, very, who thinks because they speak loud in the moment that they can win the conversation, or they turn any little piece of anything into an argument. I feel like. And I think people like that, regardless of how you feel about them initially, I think they make it hard to love them.
That is true. I've experienced that before. And it wasn't so much the talking loud, it was just the aggressive tone, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if I just ask the question, why is your voice elevating? Like, we don't have to argue. And a lot of times people use that as a way to deflect, you know, like, well, in the situation that I'm speaking of, like, if I was to ask a question about something, and they felt, I guess, attacked in whatever way, just because I asked the question or said something that they didn't want to answer because it may have, I don't know, stepped on their toes or something, they would just like immediately get aggressive in a way to, because they know I don't like to argue. So it's like, if I go ahead and piss her off right quick, then that's just gonna end the conversation. Then we can't talk at all. And that makes it hard for me to love you, because if we can't have a communication, that's no love.
So Great point. Which I want to roll right into our next topic, which is toxic. Let's talk toxic. Let's talk things that can be perceived as toxic. And I want to start with where we just were with communication,
Mm-hmm.
because I think the lack of communication can be toxic.
Absolutely.
Because at our age, 40 and 50 years old, if you cannot express yourself without
Effectively.
without dropping F bombs, that's toxic.
Yeah. Well, it's
If
very
everything
immature.
that comes out of your mouth is followed by some form of an expletive, that's a lack of communication. Well, how is that a lack of communication when I'm talking? But that's a lack of communication because the form you're using it in this moment.
Yeah. It's a lack of maturity more than anything.
So let's talk about being toxic and failing to communicate all in one. So I think the failure to communicate goes two different strands when we talk toxicity. I think the language that you use to people, and here's what I always say. Ashley, if you and I are dating and we have conversation, I don't want our normal, natural conversation between you and I to be a bunch of expletives when we just in general conversation. Shit, Ashley, I told that bitch, don't blah, blah. No, we can't talk to you. I can't do that.
Mm-mm.
Because when there's a real issue on the table and we talk to each other that way in the norm, guess what we're going to use when it's a little heated?
Yeah.
And I don't care who you are, you gonna have issues, you gonna bump heads when you talking male, female, when you talking any kind of relationship, you're gonna bump heads
True.
because you've got your mind and I've got mine. I got the way I think things should be, and you got your way you think things should be. So
That is true.
the conversation is key, that we keep it on a norm so that it don't become toxic or it don't get to a level to where now we're wanting to choke the heck out of each other because we don't know how to talk to each other.
Yeah. Well, you have to understand too, like a lot of people come from that. You know, they come from a household where that's all people did was yell and scream at one another. You know, does that justify their, way of communication? No, it doesn't. But a lot of people, that's what they come from. I think it's highly dysfunctional. But and sometimes they may not mean anything by it. That's just how they communicate. But you have a right to say, well, I dislike that. That's not something I want to deal with. You know what I'm saying? And choose to not deal with it. And so it's a lack of immaturity, and sometimes it's just a person's way of communication, and it's ugly. It's ugly.
But Ash, are we not allowing people to cop out when we say, if I say, well, y'all know how Ashley is, that's just Ashley being
Oh
Ashley.
yeah, no, I don't
Is
agree
that
with that at
no, isn't
all.
that just a
Yeah.
cop out we allow people to get away with?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, and it's not, I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to correct that person, in how they communicate with you. And it is definitely a cop out to use that excuse. Oh, well, that's just how she is. No, at some point she needs to get her shit together because she's not going to get very far communicating with people like that, especially if you're deeming yourself to be a woman who wants to eventually be in a relationship with a man. I don't know any man that's going to tolerate that type of communication. And not only that, even your friends sometimes, like, I don't like a person that draws a lot of attention to me. So if you're always loud and obnoxious, I can't have you around me. That's not how we operate. So yeah, no, it's not justification at all.
Yeah, so I just think when you try and be open and have serious conversation, and there's not a lot of feedback in situations, I think that's also a level of toxicity.
What do you mean? They're just silent? They're not saying anything?
Yeah, I think that can be viewed. Okay, so if again, back to the situation where we're dating, and I'm like, Ash, hey, look, I don't like your language. Um, I'm willing to like do what I gotta do as a man, as your man, but man, you just can't talk to me like you talking being an ex police officer. And I don't know how you guys respect level was or how they communicated, but I'm using you as an ex-officer because that's a male-dominated industry.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, you can't come home and talk to me like you're talking to one of the fellas. Because I'm not
That's
one of the
funny.
fellas, I'm your dude.
Yeah.
So when you get to the house, I don't know if you need to sit in the car for 30 minutes and deprogram yourself because that energy you had at work ain't gonna work when you walk through that door.
True.
Ask, how was your day? Shit, my motherfucking day was fine. How was it? No, 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 no. Your language, ma'am, your language.
So you're saying that is toxic, is what you're saying?
You don't think so?
Yeah, I do. I do. I
Ash,
mean,
let me tell you something. It's hard for
so
me
give
to
me your
love and hug on
definition.
you.
Give me your definition of a toxic person.
Man, I think there's several strands. It's like marijuana almost.
Right.
I'm just being honest. A toxic person can come in different angles in different ways. Again, back to what we were discussing, the communication. I think people who have a lack of communication skills can be toxic, not just with what you say, but how you say it. That can turn into an argument. You can go to 0 to 100 with one conversation because
That's
you don't know how to talk to people. And you can't come home and treat me like you treat the nigga down the street. I'm sorry, that ain't gonna work.
true.
But if you feel as though you can, if you feel as though you can, then you don't love me. You're not for me. You for the street.
Yeah. But then you have people who can talk just as calm and just as intelligent and still be toxic in their communication because they're manipulative with their words and stuff like that. So there's definitely different levels to what that can look like.
Well, that was my next route I was going when you said the different levels. Manipulation is a form of being toxic. If you're in a
Mhm.
relationship and you feel like you need to manipulate your partner, you're toxic.
Yeah.
You're toxic because we shouldn't be manipulating each other. We should be out loving each other. When we
Yeah.
talk about love languages and acts of service and gifts and whatever else, but I should be coming home every day trying to outlove Ashley.
And vice versa.
I want to hit the door saying, "Hey, babe, how was your day? Give me a hug, give me a kiss." I don't want to say, "Give me a hug, give me a kiss." I think that need to be our natural coming together. Hey, I've been gone all day. You've been gone all day. You've been dealing with the world. I've been dealing with the world. But now we want again because we're here. We're at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, that means you've created that environment for her to naturally be, just know that this is what we do.
So how often though, let me ask you this as a female. How often should I have to say that to you?
No, I'm saying you've already created an environment for
But
her
when
to
I'm
know that this
attempting
is
to
what we
create
do.
that environment, should I have to remind you every day that when you walk in, we should hug and kiss and come together or
No,
crumble?
usually that's not even something you have to verbalize. It's a feeling. It's a feeling that you create, a feeling of security, a feeling of, I can't wait to get home to my baby because, and then as soon as she get home, as soon as you get home, she's already excited. But that's something that was created initially. That's not something that was verbalized. It's just a feeling.
I've been married. I don't know if you've been married, Ash. I've been married. I'm currently divorced, but I've been married. And what I never ever want to recreate is what I walked out of. I never want to be a part of that type of environment ever again. I want my next mate, my next somebody to be the thumb to my hand. Like I want us to
But
work
are
in
you
unity.
creating that? Are you creating that atmosphere? That's what I'm saying. It's not just, it don't just happen. You have to create that. You have to give that person a sense of, like I said, security, a sense of safety. Is that your phone or mine? I don't know. Something just happened. But it's usually an unspoken thing. Does your phone stop? Hello? I don't know what happened.